There's a phrase that sounds incredibly caring on the surface, but if you're a people pleaser like me, it can reveal something really important about how you and I relate to other people. So here's the phrase: I'm good if you're good. And just to be clear, that phrase doesn't automatically mean you're a people pleaser. Sometimes it literally just means whatever works for you is fine with me. But sometimes there's something deeper. There's something underneath it. Imagine you handed someone else the remote control to your emotional state. They're upset, click, now you're upset. They're happy, click, change the channel, now you can relax. They're anxious, click, now you're anxious. Someone you love is having a really difficult day and suddenly your entire internal state has changed. You're not just responding to what they're feeling, you're using what they're feeling to decide how you feel. And I think that's a really useful way to understand people pleasing. It's not necessarily that you're too nice. It's not necessarily that you care too much. It's that your internal state, my internal state, has become organized around someone else's internal state. So start noticing what happens when you become aware that someone isn't okay. Do you immediately start monitoring them? Do you start trying to figure out what's wrong? Do you feel responsible for making it better? Can someone be unhappy, anxious, angry, sad without you becoming emotionally unsettled yourself? That can sometimes be really hard for me. Because underneath this can be that belief, that rule: if you're not okay, I can't be okay. And that's the distinction I pay attention to. It's completely normal to care about someone else, what they're feeling. The question is whether or not their emotional state gets to determine your emotional state or my emotional state. And this is where people pleasing gets a little confusing, because being highly attuned to other people is a really powerful gift you give others. You might be incredibly perceptive. You might notice things other people don't. You might genuinely care about the people around you. So the goal isn't to become someone who doesn't notice or someone who doesn't care. The question is, what happens after you notice? What happens after I notice? Imagine you're driving a car and someone sitting next to you is anxious. You notice they're anxious. You care. Maybe you ask, what's wrong? Maybe you slow down. That's connection. But imagine their anxiety starts determining where you drive. They're uncomfortable, so you change directions. They're unhappy, so you abandon your plans. They're distressed, so you immediately stop to try to make it better. At some point, they're not just a passenger anymore. Their emotional state is steering the car. And that's the difference between caring about someone's emotions and being emotionally dependent on them. Healthy connection sounds like this: I care about how you're feeling, and I'm willing to take that into account. Emotional dependency sounds more like this: I need you to feel okay so that I can feel okay. And those are two very different things. Someone can be sad and you can still be okay. Someone can be anxious and you can still be grounded. Someone can have a bad day and you don't have to have a bad day with them. You can be emotionally connected to them, but not make their emotional state the authority over you. And if you're thinking, okay, I can see that I can do this, but why do I keep doing it? What's the reason I keep doing this? Well, there's a really good pattern that's really hard to break. So think about it like this: a smoke alarm. Someone around you becomes upset. Beep, beep. Your system detects something's wrong. So you check on them, you reassure them, you accommodate, you try to make things better. And then they calm down. Silence. And then you feel relief. So your brain learns, wow, that worked. Then the next time someone is upset, beep, beep. Again, the alarm goes off. Fix it. Relief. And the cycle gets reinforced again. That's one reason people-pleasing can become so deeply ingrained in our way of being. It's not necessarily a conscious decision to make everyone happy. Your system just may have learned that when someone isn't okay, I need to do something about it. You need to do something about it. And because doing something often produces immediate relief, the behavior gets reinforced. You make them feel better and you feel better. So even if you understand intellectually that you're people pleasing, your system can still keep reaching for the same strategy. And over time, that can leave you exhausted. I know it does me. You might constantly monitor people's moods. You might become hyper-vigilant, hyper-aware of tone and facial expressions and the silence and the tension, and you might lose touch with what you actually feel because you're so busy tracking what everyone else feels. And that's why the goal isn't simply to stop caring what other people think. It's learning that you can tolerate someone else's discomfort without immediately making it your job to remove it. So here's something that you can practice. The next time someone's upset, don't immediately do anything. Just pause and notice, what are they feeling? What am I feeling? What am I assuming I need to do right now? And then ask yourself, if I didn't need to change how they're feeling, what would I naturally want to do? Maybe the answer is I want to comfort them. Great. Maybe it's I want to help. Great. Maybe it's I realize I need to do nothing. Great. The point isn't to stop yourself from helping. The point is to notice whether you're helping because you genuinely chose to or because you can't tolerate the reality that they're uncomfortable, they're anxious, they're nervous, whatever. You don't have to change their behavior. Just start noticing the moment you've given your remote control to someone else. Because ultimately, the goal isn't to stop caring about other people's emotions. It's not to become detached. It's not to become indifferent. It's to be able to stay connected to yourself while someone else is having an emotional experience. They can be upset and you can still be okay. They can be anxious and you can still be grounded. They can have that bad day and you don't have to have a bad one as well. You can care about what someone else is feeling without taking responsibility for their internal state. And you can support them without being responsible for making them feel better. They don't have to be okay for you to be okay. And that's what taking back the remote starts to look like.